Welcome to 602, Community Development and Health Education. In this presentation, I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce our course. The guiding questions for us are these: what is community development? What is health education? And how are these related? One short answer is that to have true health education, to get a population to really understand what it needs to be healthy, community development is an essential factor. This semester, we're going to explore this hypothesis. First, health education. There are images that are conjured up when thinking about health education. The expert is often center stage, imparting information to clients that don't have the right information. And public health agencies have been presenting and prescribing information for many years and have been advising about what needs to be done to be healthy. What we should eat is a great example. In 1992, the USDA presented a food guide pyramid, which gave us the information that we should eat 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. In 2005, the pyramid was replaced by My Pyramid. This graphic needed a roadmap to explain its complexities. In 2010, My Pyramid was rethought and My Plate came onto the scene. But in spite of presenting the information in different ways throughout the decades, the American population is still not getting the recommended minimal daily allowance of fruit and vegetables. Mark Twain's quote seems to suggest that there's something else going on besides getting information. Of course, there are many factors that go into constructing our health behaviors, but it does seem that Americans don't use the information provided by the experts. Americans are eating less and less of what's good for them, and this seems to suggest that health education, understood as only providing information, is only part of the story. Providing information for people to use is an approach that only seems to go so far. This semester, we will reconceptualize health education by problematizing it and connecting it to the concept of community development. The ideas from critical pedagogy will help us make the link between health education and community development. Critical pedagogy is a theory of education developed by Paulo Freire in the 1970s, which attempts to educate by going beyond the dominant myths, received wisdom, and taken for granted knowledge to help students understand the root causes, ideology, and deep meanings of the world around us. Paulo Freire was a lawyer and philosopher in Brazil. This theory of education is applicable to health education as well, as the dominant modes of thinking in the taken for granted structures of society have been linked to some problems in population health. I hope that this concept will help to illuminate rather than obfuscate the connection between community and health. The next guiding question takes up to the concept of community. Community is a very common word, and yet its meaning is elusive. Here are some random pictures from a Google search of the word community. This presents perhaps the most idealized version of what a community is. But community isn't something that is given, and it too is a word that needs to be problematized. To problematize is to take something that we think that we know and to begin asking questions about it. It involves taking our taken for granted assumptions and making a problem out of them. In a work called Critical Pedagogy and Social Justice, we read that community isn't something that is given or can be relied on. Community is attached to different forms of collective identity that have actually to be created. Community in this sense is always fragile and fractured, always takes variable forms, and always involves particular kinds of powers. It includes, embraces, empowers, but it also excludes. Here are some other communities, perhaps less idealized depictions. Thinking about community development, we need to ask about community. We need to understand what it means for people to be with each other. That will be one of the goals of our semester, to problematize our understandings of community. Here's where I situate our course. These are the 10 essential public health services as delineated by the CDC, and our course resides as part of the policy development core function of public health. Our course will provide a backdrop to inform, to educate, and to empower populations, and we're going to learn some of the important considerations in mobilizing community partnerships. This mobilization will then prepare the stage for policy development, which we won't be delving into, as this is a topic for another course. Here's a rough outline of our course, the structure of where we're going. What we're going to be doing is learning the vocabulary of community development. We'll begin with important concepts like critical pedagogy, social capital, and others. Second, we'll investigate 3 important theorists that are important for understanding how to build community capacity. And third, we'll look to the elements of practice and think about ethical foundations. Here's a few hints for a successful experience of this online course. Make sure you have a look at the syllabus for all of the course policies and procedures, requirements, and methods of evaluation. There are questions each week, research papers, and a final project. Make sure you know how you're going to be evaluated. Each module will have a discussion. You are required to post 2 reflections per module, 1 original post, and 1 response to the post of another student. The first reflection should be posted by Thursday to give the others an opportunity to read your ideas, and you need to complete your second reflection by Sunday. We're on a Monday to Sunday schedule where everything is due is submitted by midnight on Sunday. This discussion requirement is not graded on content, so I'd like you to feel free to explore these ideas and evoke critical questioning rather than being concerned with getting it right. For our first discussion, our whole class will participate as one discussion group, but in subsequent weeks there will be smaller, more intimate groups to promote more fluid conversations. The next requirement are the assignments. There will be 3 formal papers this semester. The first will be an exploration of a theoretical dimension of community development. For the second assignment, you will identify a public health issue and assess it in terms of community. For the third assignment, you will evaluate tools of community organizing and propose a course of action. Each of these will, to a certain degree, constitute the drafts of your final project. The final project puts all of the pieces together. It's divided into 3 sections following roughly the 3 assignments. The first part explains the connection between health and community, the theoretical dimensions of the first assignment. The second part will present and evaluate your issue in terms of the theoretical dimensions. The third part provides an opportunity for field work or for further theoretical development. For this part, you may show what you've learned by explaining how to organize a community. Community development is an exercise in social change. By some definitions, it is the planned evolution of all aspects of community well-being, including social, economic, environmental, and cultural. Some believe that there is an ethical obligation on the public health practitioner based on the idea of justice to promote the health of populations by focusing on community development. And one final thing, community development has come to emphasize sustainable economic regeneration, but this perspective often misses some important elements of the health of populations, elements based on social justice and health equity. It's up to us to determine whether this is so. Please feel free to ask any and all kinds of questions. We're going to be together for the next 14 weeks exploring very difficult material, so asking questions is an important part of our process. I'm also scheduling an online chat session so we can come together in real time to go over some of these complex ideas. We'll do this Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If that poses some conflicts, I'll work to schedule a time that is convenient for all of us. Thanks for signing up for the course. Good luck, have fun, and learn a lot.